Hi everyone, how are you all? Hope you're well. I sound like my sister, or I could sound like Beck and I could go, hi YouTube, or I could sound like the guy from Star Wars and go, well, hello there. Or I could sound like Joey from Friends and go, how you doing? Anyway, I'm just being silly. I'm nuts. Okay, what have I got in front of me? Look. This is just one container of my wools. They're mostly, I think, all hand-dyed. I love wools. Rach loves wools. Mum loves wools. So look at these gorgeous wools. These ones are from Fleurwood. She hand-dyed these. So I want to use this one as well. Oh, that one's actually, I need that colour. I want to, and these are all from her. And that. I want to thread paint today. So thread painting, starting to thread paint my beautiful vase of flowers. So mostly beautiful wools in here. Just going through them. These are some. I've got heaps. I've got lots of containers of wools. I've been collecting for a long time and I still collect. And I've got a big bowl of them as well. Most of these wools are 4-ply. Okay, which is great for embroidery. Sometimes they're a little bit more chunky than 4-ply. I'm not a knitter or a person who crochets, so I'm not an expert in the wool sizes, but I know 4-ply is a nice size to embroider with. That one looks like it's a little bit thicker, but who knows. So I'm going to move my wools to the side and gradually pick some out. I've already picked a few spring colours. So my vase is just stitched down. It's just a rough stitch around the outside. Eventually, once I do all my embroidery on it, I don't think you'll notice the stitching too much, which will be good. So the plan, as I said, is to embroider all the flowers, and I'm going to use the pretty wools for the flowers. And then I wanted to do some embroidery on the ginger jar, and with that I think I'm going to embroider in just some stranded cotton. So this will be the thread painting. Now the flowers are quite small. The yellow's good. This yellow's good. The flowers are quite small, so the wool's quite chunky, so we'll see how that turns out. But I'm going to show you the technique that I do. It's I wouldn't even say it's technique. This is just how I do it. Nothing special. But Beth, I hope you watch, because you asked me a little bit about thread painting, and I'm going to do some thread painting with wools tonight, so that might help you. Hopefully it helps you. Just finding, these are milliners. That one might be good actually. I do like my milliners, but I don't think I need a big long milliners at the moment. Okay, so let's get started. I think I'm going to start with all the flowers, these flowers, pretty red rose, the yellow ones, and then I'll do the leaves after. So why don't we start with the pink ones? I've pulled both of these. This one's a thinner wool, but it's lovely and pale. This one, I just love it because it's got some neon colours in it. I think I'm going to use this one. I can't help myself. So I'm going to get some nice variation in the leaves. All right, I made my strand. Look, that's, I don't know if you can see, that's quite long. Sometimes I make it too long and I pull the fibres off. I think anyone that does wool embroidery would say that I did it too long. I think you really just meant to do like a forearm length, but I find that too short because I hate threading needles. I think everyone does, right? So who wants to keep threading needles? If you can have it a bit longer and you don't get too tangled, then have it a bit longer. That's okay. So with thread painting, my tip is just to look at the flower and think about the direction that the petal would go. And that would be the direction of your stitches. So if we have this little flower here, you'd stitch that way on that petal, then that way, then that way, that way, and that way. And in the middle, I think I'll do a French knot. On this flower, it'd be the same thing. I'd be going with the direction of the petal. Okay, so all the different directions, and you do some yellow, and then I might even add a little bit of white on the inside. Okay, same with these, going in the direction of the flower, and then a lovely French knot in the middle. These ones get a little bit harder because you've got so many petals. But again, I'd be going up and down there and then getting some colour change and a little bit of a white tip if I was keeping this pink. And just following the different directions of the petals. That's basically how I do it. These little things here, I don't know, is that meant to be baby's breath? But we'll see. I may end up just embroidering over that white and maybe adding some delicate French knots in later in a white thread. Okay, so let's actually have a go. I'm going to start with the pink ones because they're quite easy shapes to see. One thing that's good, because I've got quite a big knot because it's wool, I start on the outside of the petal. And, sorry, it's just a bit stuck. Rather than putting your knot in the middle where it's going to get in the way all the time as you keep coming into that space and eventually when you do your French knot. Now, two things you can do. So it's just like a satin stitch. Because these flowers are little, I'm probably just going to do a straight stitch from end to end. But you can also do long and short stitches, so not the full length, but blend them in a bit better. Because I've got a nice variegated wool, I'm going to get some different colours. So I've got a choice. I can either come up just next to where I came out, making sure not to go through the same hole, or, because it's short, I could actually loop up to the top again and start next to it. So that's what I've done. I've come to the top. What I think I'll do on tonight's video, sorry, I was getting all this stitching done. I've done running stitch all on this, and I've done a little bit of stitching last night, but I needed to stitch down all the fabrics last night before I could start the embroidery, and then I'm just going to make a little short stitch here. So I've actually just come down a little bit lower, and I'm just going to make a little short one. So I might not stitch all the pink flowers out in one go, but I might just show you a little bit of pink, then some of the yellow, then some of the white, just to give you the idea, because it will be something I'll have to work on over time, because I do want to embroider the whole thing with wool, and it's going to take a while. I have to tell you a funny little thing. So in the past week, I have been marking some Year 7 assessment tasks. Now, Year 7 in Australia, they are boys that are aged 12 and 13. And their assessment tasks, so we teach them about the basics of nutrition, so they understand the nutrients and learn about the healthy eating guidelines from the Australian government, and how to read food labels, how to understand the different food groups and how much you should have of each type of food each day. And we set them an assignment, which I really like this assignment. I feel like it's a really good one for their knowledge, and they seem to enjoy it, and the parents love it, where we challenge them to eat a healthy food week, so follow the Australian guidelines for a week, and a lot of them make a really good attempt, but vegetables is always something that is a struggle for kids to eat enough. At their age, they should eat what we would suggest would be 5.5 serves of veggies a day. And so that's the first part. They eat a healthy food week, and then in their video, they talk about what they ate that week and reflect on it. What was easy to eat, what was difficult to eat, what changes they could make, that kind of stuff. And then the second part of the video, which is the bigger part, is they're challenged to make their family a healthy meal. So we tell the boys, or in my class, I told all my boys to cook a dinner for their family. and they have to follow the guidelines and to make sure that they have a meal that includes the different nutrients, and they have to pick their meal, they have to get their ingredients, they have to talk about what their ingredients are, how much of each ingredient, they have to prepare everything, cook it, serve it. They get a family member to eat their meal and then review it, tell them what they liked about it, what they could do better, that kind of thing. And then they just reflect on their week, their time, not their week, but their time as being a chef for their family. And so I was marking one this week, and this funny little guy, he made a, how do you say it, Niçoise salad, the one with tuna and like egg and lettuce and lots of veggies and olives and stuff like that. I don't eat that because I don't eat tuna, but or black olives, but Niçoise salad. And then he made these lovely steaks, like, and cut up pieces of steak. So it was lots of veggies with the salad. And what was he doing? He was trying to get some salt. And the recipe said for the salad dressing, it said you have to add, I think it was like 1/4 teaspoon. And he had this little teaspoon, like little plastic teaspoon, and he was trying to get 1/4 of it, and with the salt. So he's grinding the salt, and he's trying to get it all to land in his little teaspoon, which was tiny. It was only collecting a little bit of the salt, and the salt was going all over the bench. And he's like looking at it, and it's only got a little layer of salt, and there's salt all around the bench. And then he scoops it all up into his hand, and he tries to get it in. He's dropping salt everywhere. And he says to me on camera, "Well, miss, this is what happens when you try to make a 13-year-old cook." So, funny little guy, lots of little sarcastic comments in his video, but I thought that was super cute. And I know that as I was writing his feedback, we type it in online, and the boys get to read the feedback. I can't remember what I wrote exactly, but I quoted him. I said, "Well, I guess that's what happens when, I get a 13-year-old to cook." So I thought that was really funny. You'd be surprised at how many boys have never cooked before. And it's quite cool because, their parents are there. Their parents are allowed to be there teaching them. We say that, you have to have a parent there supervising because obviously kitchens can be dangerous. But you can see that they're looking at their parent who's off camera, or they're filming, and they're checking that they're doing everything right. They're very sweet. So yeah, we get some amazing dishes. I mean, I get kids that obviously cook all the time, and sometimes they like to challenge themselves. I had one boy make it was a 4-course menu because he made an entree, a main, and then he couldn't decide on what he wanted for dessert, so he made 2. Yeah, and I mean, we've had kids, like, we have country boys that come from the land, and sometimes they'll source their food from their farm, and that's pretty cool to see all their veggies and things that they've grown, and they might show you a bit of that on their video. I've had a kid do a whole lamb spit roast and showed how he cooked that, and yeah, it's really cool. It's cool to see, and the different cultures. Like we have a lot of boys from parts of Asia, and they make amazing dumplings from scratch, like fully make everything from scratch. I've had boys make pasta from scratch. So yeah, it's a cool assessment task. We've been doing it for a little while, and we kind of have refined it over the years. And I actually love it. They make a 10-minute video showing you what they've learned about nutrition. So yeah, that gave me a laugh the other day when I was marking that. There were other things I laughed at too. He's quite funny. Like, you have them in class and they interact with their peers, and you kind of view them one way, and then when they're doing this task and they're cooking in front of their parents, you can see a bit of a different side to them. I feel like almost you get to know them a bit better. They're relaxed, they're in their home, they're not trying to impress mates, they're just being natural. Yeah, they can be funny. Boys can be definitely very funny. And like when he cut up his steak, and he timed it, how long he cooked it on each side and stuff, and then he cut it, and just the joy from him when he could see it was nice and pink on the inside the way he wanted it. And he made sure that I knew that it was nice and pink on the inside. Anyway, can you see? I'll bring this up closer because I think I'm zoomed out a bit. So, I mean, I may not perfectly be going with the fabric, but I can see the main flowers. So I'll go with the main ones, and then there's a few with just petals sticking out the side. I think this is going to be pretty. Pretty colours. Got a little bit of a neon touch to this one. I have a lot of neon wools. Get those little touches of bright pink. I've been a neon lover since the 80s. Since I had a Wake Me Up Before You Go t-shirt, Choose Life, and I think I had a neon yellow belt that you'd wear around the oversized t-shirt. You'd have your neon yellow socks with some kind of, like, usually Converse, which I still wear all the time. Never grown out of Converse. I even have neon pink Converse. Yeah, so the 80s was definitely my vibe with all the pink neon and yellow neon, and you know, I love that it's in and that you can get neon all the time now. You can get your neon threads, and you know, there's so many people that love neon. Okay, so one flower done. I'm just going to continue on with the same wool starting on the next flower, and because it's variegated and it's changed colors, you get some differentiation from this other flower over here, which is great. If I had the same color, it might feel like the petals are blending in together. So Beth, I hope you're watching. Told you I'm doing it tonight, and I'd give you some tips. I definitely did thread painting when I was working a bit on my title page as well. So you can have a look at that. This is just my way of doing it. Like, I know thread painting's been around for a long time and a lot of people do it. I've never really watched to try and learn how to do it from anywhere. I've just looked at it and tried to interpret how to do it. You could even, you can use different types of threads. Like, I might use a bit of wool, and then I might use a bit of perlé cotton, or I might use some stranded cotton. You can blend them in a bit. You can do beading in the middle. You can really mix it up quite a bit, which actually looks really cool. What you doing, Alfie? What are you doing, Mr. Moo? Just sniffing around under me, getting into things. Sweet little puppy. He'll be excited. Jamie comes home tomorrow for the night. It's Friday. You get Jamie home on a Friday. Actually, I want to call him tonight. I haven't spoken to him. When did I speak to him? I spoke to him on Monday, I think. So normally we talk about every 2 days. I can't normally talk to him till about 9:30 at night, because he's pretty much, he's got to be sort of on duty in a way, like just to make sure that the boys have gone to sleep and that there's no one out of bed. So until 9:30 he's kind of doing that, and then he goes in his room and he can start winding down. So that's when I can talk to him. And there's like zero mobile res. Alfie, what are you ripping up? Ripping up a paper happy birthday bag. That's under the table. Yeah, so there's zero reception where they are. They're literally, they are, their campus is in the bush. So there's no mobile reception, but they do have Wi-Fi. So luckily he can, we can connect and talk. We video chat through WhatsApp, which is good. So I'll just finish this flower here, and then I might change threads and go on to a different one to show you. Just trying to eyeball. You could even have a few pink wools and just do a different, slightly different pink or different version of wool for each one. So hopefully you get to see Rachel's video of her little trip to, via France on the way to Spain, because she did a little bit of filming and took photos in the markets that she went to. I've already seen a bit of a sneak peek of the things she bought, and yes, she found a lot of amazing things. So I actually was hoping the video would come up tonight, Rach. I was just talking to her. She's not quite ready yet. She's got to put it all together. And I was watching her video before, and she said that she can't do I think you called it a speak-over. No, you didn't. You called it a talk-over. I think she means a voiceover. So she can't do the voiceover. So it literally, when she puts the video up, you'll just get the sound. Maybe she's talking in it. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the actual footage that she filmed at the Brocante markets, whatever they are. And now I want to go to the south of France with her. I've got plans to go to Italy, not this year, but next year, hopefully. We've been talking about it. So I'd love a little trip to the south of France to go treasure hunting. Okay, so let's do a little center. Finishing off my wool a couple of times. Yes, I did make it long. Now for the centers, if I can thread it, those little centers, this is a kind of pale pink. It's got a little bit of apricot mustardy color, a bit of pink, little speckle of brown through it. So another nice variegated thread, which I think I'll use for my French knots in the middle. Let's get a bit of that. And for French knots, we use, if you can thread them, and hopefully I can, because it is a thick thread, I want to use my milliner's needle, this one. I'm going to love that when it's done. Look at it. Look at the neon. Am I on camera nicely? I'm going to do the French knots and then I'll show you. Okay, so do knot on the end. Okay. I know that most of you are going to know how to do these, but just in case you don't, you just come up in the middle of the flower. Milliner's needles are fantastic for this because they don't get thicker at the eye, which means it's easier to pull them through. And I think I'm going to do 3 wraps and go down just next to where I came up. No, I'm going to do 2. I think that'll be too chunky. 1, 2. I think 3 would be too big. I don't want it to be too big and popping out of the flower too far. And then you just pull it through. And my next one. two's good. 1, 2. And I've got some variegation here with the brown, so that's kind of coming through. Okay, and I would do my French knots after I've done my petal stitching. Okay, so what I might do now, because the video is going to get long, I will go ahead and we will start stitching. How about I do one of the yellow flowers? Okay, and we got a bigger center with pink, and that's where I could do a bunch of French knots. This has got some little bits of white in it as well, so I think I might just keep this thread that I've got here now. Okay, and I'm going to just do a little bit of stitching where the white would be, and then I'll get some yellow around it. So literally it's probably just going to be one stitch on each petal. It's not fully white. There's a bit of pink that's going to come through. There's a bit of apricot, bit of creamy colour. But again, the variegation looks lovely on a flower. And then we'll fill it in with the bright yellow. What are you into now? It's finding things. Sorry, am I on camera? Just all straight stitches wherever I can see a little flick of white on the fabric. Okay, so I'll give you a tip right now because it's starting to do that. As you stitch, sometimes you will, like it gets all curly, it kind of curls back on itself. You can either just twist it in your hand to curl it the other way, or you can just hold your fabric up, hang your needle down, just let it untwist naturally. Excuse me. Oh, we had an artist come to school today. He's a Sydney-based artist, kind of like the kind of artist that boys like a, you know, he does really cool murals and lots of kind of block colours and patterns and like almost like not a graffiti artist with spray cans, but you know, he's done murals down at Bondi on the beach wall, and you know, he does like crazy gorillas in sunglasses and cockatoos and like lots of really bright colours and animals. And he was really cool. Came and he talked to the boys about what he did, talked a little bit about his art and the kinds of things he does. Does a lot of wall murals. So a lot of schools in Sydney have one of his murals, or he can, you know, you can come and do it in your kid's bedroom on the wall, and, you know, around your swimming pool or whatever. And it's all really bright, and lots of Australiana and, you know, fruits with sunglasses on and things like that. Kind of cool if you're Australian, little bit, not quite, but similar to Mambo style. His name's Mulga, M-U-L-G-A. Anyway, I'm pretty sure he might be Bondi based because he's done quite a lot of stuff down at Bondi. There's a very Bondi sort of feel about his work. But yeah, he came in and chatted to a couple of our Year 7 classes today, and actually they all had to go like a drawing masterclass, and they've created these gorillas, you know, that might have a wave on top of their head with a guy on a surfboard, or a waterfall coming down the side, or some kid drew helicopters, and it was actually really cool. And we've got them all drawn with pencil on paper. And then I said to the boys, I might bring in a bunch of, well, we've got some at school too, but I've got heaps of Poscas. I told them we might get them onto get the paper onto some thicker cardboard, and we might get our Posca pens out, and yeah, they could create a really cool artwork. So that was a bit of fun. We are in the middle of ceramics at the moment, and they've been painting their little creatures that they've made out of clay. Most of them are almost finished painting, and we really just need to let them dry for another week or so, and then they'll be going in the kiln. So we're on to our next project, and our next theme is self-portrait. And what I've decided I'm going to get the boys to do is we're going to do a self-portrait photo shoot, where they'll go into like a dark room where it's all black, and then just get a torchlight and make funny faces and take photos, like scary faces and things like that. And then what we can do is we put those photos into Adobe Firefly, and they can manipulate the photos using AI and create some AI images of themselves that are distorted, and, you know, change the colours and the contrast and the lighting and that kind of stuff. And then I think what we'll do is we're going to make really big cardboard masks, so out of recycled cardboard. So I need to start collecting cardboard, and we're going to make these big masks that are meant to be themselves, like a distorted sense of themselves, almost like a Picasso self-portrait. And then at the end, if I have time, so I have got 2 terms to do it, but I only get to see them once or twice a week. I was thinking we could incorporate Mulga, his style of like decorating them with Posca pens, so colouring them, and he does patterns and things like that. Or they could put some crazy sunglasses on themselves. So I thought we could incorporate Mulga, because we got to meet him today and learn a bit about his artwork, so that could be fun. So that's my Year 7 project that's coming up. We'll be starting that really soon as our ceramic painting's finished. And then with my Year 8 kids, we are taking inspiration, and I can't think of the guy's name right now. There's 2 artists, clay ceramic artists. We're doing postmodern ceramics, and there's 2 artists. Courtney Matheson is the female artist. She's from America, the US, and she does amazing coral reef clay pieces, raising a lot of awareness for things like coral bleaching and the impacts of humans. And what's the guy's name? I can't think of him. He's the one that he makes concrete humans, like sculptures of humans, and then they get put underwater and they stay there, and then basically the coral take over the sculptures, and things grow on them, and they're almost like they get incorporated into the ocean life, and, you know, the fish swim around them, and they're amazing. What's his name? I know there's some in Italy. He's got them all over the world. So yeah, that's the other artist. We watched a video on each of them the other day, so boys could start getting some ideas, because what we're going to do, we're making a vessel. So they can make a pot like this. They can make a bowl, quite big, you know, big. And then we're going to pretend like that was put underwater and the coral's growing on it. So they're going to fill it with coral, and on the outside, inside, wherever they want. So they'll be learning different ceramic techniques. So I'm starting that one next week. The boys have been sketching out ideas already. couple of boys are like, is this going to be watertight? Can I use this as my water bottle? I said, boys, do you really want me running on the rugby field with a water bottle that looks like it's coral? Like, really? And they're like, okay, I don't think I want it as my water bottle. I said, boys, can we just think of it as an amazing sculpture that your parents are going to want to put on the shelf and look at it forever. So we're going to have fun with that. They've been drawing up different types of coral, getting ideas, and you know, we'll watch some videos on different life under the ocean, so they can, you know, do sea urchins and starfish, and they'll have fun with that. Boys love that stuff. It's really manual and using their hands. Alfie he's got a packet was in the rubbish in the kitchen that is empty, but it had like the dog dentist bones in it, but he had the last one today and it's empty, but he's just tearing apart the packet. That's what he loves doing, that and paper. He's always searching, and cardboard. He likes ripping things up. And I'll clean it all up, and then I'll come back home after work and he's found something else, and there's like cardboard all over the living room or paper, or I've just got to make sure nothing important gets ripped up. So everything that he might want to tear up is out of reach. He does love his toys as well. He does rip those toys up too, or chews on them. But he particularly likes ripping paper and cardboard. And at the moment, it's like a foil packaging. He's chewing on that and making a lot of noise. But that's life, right? That's what goes on. We have our kids, we have our pets, we have the birds outside. Rach, you've got the barking dog next door. It's life. It's part of life. Alfie, so much noise, mister. He goes crazy when Jamie comes home. He gets so excited. We were just saying the other day, like, he gets so excited when I come home from work too. He jumps up, he gets his wiggle bottom going, tail's going like crazy. Even if you just, because our laundry for my building's like just outside and down the stairs, like under the building kind of thing. It's not far from my apartment because I'm ground floor. Even if I just go out to the laundry to put some washing on, I get the same response when I come back in, even if I've been gone for like a minute. He's very funny. See, I'm still going just in the direction of the petals. I'm just slotting in stitches wherever I'm seeing a bit of yellow fabric. Going with the flow. It's kind of, this one looks a bit like a daisy. It's going to be a daisy with a pink centre. So we're still winter here, but we're very much getting close to spring, and we've had much warmer weather, particularly on the weekends when I'm playing hockey or the boys have played rugby. It's been quite warm. Nights aren't as cold. It's not so cold in the morning. You can definitely feel it starting to warm up a bit. Feels like it's time to get out in the garden. It's a mess from winter because I just don't go out there because it's cold, so it needs a clean up. And then maybe some spring flower planting. I have a heap of pots. I'm just outside my window, which I'm facing right now. So my living room, there's lots of pots on the path just outside my living room, and I like to fill them with flowers for spring, and it looks all pretty. So we're just almost due for that. Sometimes when you're doing this, it feels like a little bit like it goes through that ugly stage. And then it gets better. Once you kind of get it done, it does look better. So don't be disheartened if you think it looks terrible to begin with. Just persist, keep going, and it gets better. I kind of think it's a little bit going through the ugly stage. Okay, finish off the yellow. I'll do the pink in the center. Okay. Pale pink, bright pink. You know what I could do? Give me one sec. Look at this pink. Could do a really bright pink. I'm going to go really bright pink. This is another Fleur colour. Fleur, you won't watch this, I don't think. But Fleur, if you did, how do you get such a nice bright pink? It's a really good one. Let me get another needle. Keeping my needles threaded up and stuck in my mat for when I come back and do another yellow flower. Okay. So this video is getting quite long. I'll do the French knots here. Should I do a couple of leaves just to show you? I was going to leave the leaves till the end because I want to make features of the flowers first and then just sort of add the leaves in between here, there and everywhere. Actually, that's not a good needle for this because I'm going to do French knots, so I need another. I'm going to go back to my milliners. Even if it's harder to thread, it is much easier to do your French knots. Well, there you go. I threaded it really easily that time. Okay, I'm just going to do single wrap and then just do a bunch of French knots. Holding the thread to the side as you pull through stops it from getting tangled, especially when you're using wool. Hello, Alfie. I might, once I finish these French knots, I might actually jump off, maybe do a bit more stitching off camera, and then I'll come back and show you, and then that will be it for this video because it will get too long, and when it gets too long, it takes me forever to upload it. I seem to have issues fairly regularly with uploading. Maybe because our internet is not as good here as it is in Italy. Rachel has less problems, but sometimes like even just a half-hour video, it tells me it's going to take 4 hours to upload it. Sometimes it goes quick and it's fine, and then other times it's just exhausting. And occasionally I have to let it upload overnight and post in the morning because it's just taking so long and I need to go to sleep. Because I do always seem to start my videos late. Mum said to me the other day, why don't you do your video on Sunday? I'm like, yeah, good idea, Mum. But when I go out and I play hockey and I played 2 games on the weekend, that's pretty much 3 hours of playing, about a half hour of warming up before the first game. It's a half-hour drive each way. You're looking at about 5 hours out of your day at hockey, which is fine. I don't mind it. Obviously I like it, but it does take a large chunk. And then I usually am tired because I've played 2 games. So come home, maybe have something to eat, have a little nap for a little while, shower, that kind of stuff. And then it's usually getting into the afternoon by then, or later afternoon, and maybe there's an NRL game on that I want to watch, or on the weekend, on Sunday, I did have some marking to do. I've been marking those food videos. And I'm like, Mum, I don't have time today to do any stitching because, you know, work obviously has to take the priority. And hockey's my thing that I get to do each week. So yeah, I don't get as much stitching done as I'd like to. Good suggestion, Mum, but it just doesn't always fit. But this Saturday, in 2 days for me, not tomorrow but the next day, is our last round of rugby for the season. So rugby season's done. Then I get 1 weekend off, and then I'm pretty sure I have my first weekend at water polo, my next sport. So you get 1 weekend off. Yeah. So from one thing to the next. Most people at school, everyone is supposed to do a sport. For many people, it's just that one sport. So they're done. If they've done their winter sport, they're done now until next year. But I do too, because I help my friend Yvette, and because Jamie used to play water polo, and I love water polo. I love watching it. It's good. And, you know, I'm a sport person, so I'm going to be involved in sport. So I'm just looking at the shape of that. I might just add one more little one in here, just to fix that shape. Just need one there. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I keep changing my mind. There are some leaves at the bottom of this, so I'm going to just do them quickly to show you leaves, and then I'll go and do this off camera and I can show you the progress. Oh, I've come a bit high. Doesn't matter, just tuck it in there. That's better. And then I can just show you the progress next week, because let's be honest, this is going to take me a while to do this whole thing. So let's just go down to the leaves at the bottom, and then I can upload the video. Okay, so this is gorgeous wool, hand dyed by Fleur, lots of different greens in there, great variation. So I'm going to have a go at those leaves under there. So it's just the same concept with the flowers going in the direction of the leaf. So what I tend to do with leaves, sometimes I'll do this just to show you. Sometimes I'll do kind of a straight stitch up the middle, like a long one. And then you use that as a guide for where your center is, and then you just come to the side and you just go, Alfie, you're so noisy. You can actually go over it, but you've got your middle because you've made that long stitch, and it even pads it up a little bit. So then I just come from outside. Alfie, you're so noisy tonight. What are you doing? You're just ripping that packet up, and all you're doing is putting bits all over the floor, buddy. Aren't you? Aren't you crazy puppy? It's just continuing. Okay, so you come from outside to inside. I'm coming on just a slight angle, the way a leaf would be on a bit of an angle. Fleur's wools are really soft as well. Like maybe they've got some, what is it? Cashmere. I'm trying to think of what it was. Cashmere in it. Really, getting a bit tangled. Hang on. That's better, because these are long strands. They're pre-cut and they're long. I have a feeling Fleur might be not pre-cutting them anymore. You could almost actually fold this in half and cut it. It is actually really long. But I think she might just be doing it as one long thing and then winding it up. Yeah, so she sells them. And when she came to teach here, I just kept buying more and more and more. She had them on a table and I was like diving in for every colour, and then I come back and I haven't got that colour and now I want... Alfie, can you chew a toy? It's much quieter. Yeah, so I ended up... Alfie, hang on. I just got to take this off him. I'll give him a toy. It's just too noisy, Alfie. Let's get rid of that. Why don't you have a squeaky toy? Have this. Have Crocodile. There you go. There you go. Now he's got his Crocodile. His Crocodile is not so noisy unless he gets the squeaker. Yeah, so I think I came away from Fleur's workshop with maybe 10 colours. There was more. Some of them I missed out on because she just had a random mix. So some she had more of one type than another. And you just kind of... We didn't want to like fully dive in there right at the beginning and just, you know, take everything and be really selfish. We wanted to just be a bit conservative. I think I took 4 to begin with, and then people all came in and got stuff, and then I got some more. And just... We were there for 5 days, so I just kept grabbing a few. Okay, so... Looks a bit funny at the moment. Then once you come to the other side and you start joining it up, it kind of starts to look like a leaf. And I am a bit different in my colour to the fabric, but that's the beauty of thread painting. You can completely change the colour palette because you will cover the fabric and you won't be able to see really what was under there. So I like a lot of bright colours. I've got quite bright colours that will be coming in. And we've got the variegation happening. So it actually looks good because each side of the leaf is a bit of a different colour. And you just keep going till you fill it right in. Let's do one more little fill in here. So if you watch Beck's video, her shop sounds like it's starting to progress. That's really exciting. I'm going to go up next holidays and visit. I think she won't be in her new one yet. I think that's coming soon. But then when Rach comes here, we'll definitely go up to visit her because Rach will be wanting to see her shop. I tell you, if we lived near you, Beck, we'd be coming all the time. I reckon I'd be in there every week. I'd annoy you. I'd be in there. What's your new stuff? What fabrics have you got? What are your new vintage finds? Oh, can I buy that? I'd be doing it all the time. Okay, we have the sewing basket in Sydney. It's not like Beck's store. Beck's is obviously a patchwork store with beautiful vintage things as well. I'm just doing a little bit of a stem here. But the sewing basket's awesome. It's not that close. Like Balmain's not too far, but it's not that close. But yeah, there's not really any lovely close patchwork fabric stores near me. Because even though I'm not really a patchworker, although I do have desires to make Beck's Gosling quilt, and I want to make a hexie quilt. Jamie wants me to make him a hexie quilt. I want to make a quilt out of vintage textiles. Beck's kind of got one running on the back of her wall. When she shows you her videos, you can see it. She's talked about it. Mum's already started something like that, and so has Rach. I've always had plans to do something like that, but haven't done it. I would like to do something like that. So I did do my vintage tablecloth. If you go right back to one of my early videos, you can see that. I'm thinking of actually grabbing that tablecloth and working on it a lot more now, because it's actually really simple when I did that. And I could make it I can make it so much better. So I'm now just going with the flow for this next leaf. It's not like a full shaped leaf like that one. It's almost like it's one that was just on its side or a little bit in half. So I think I'm just going to go angled stitches to fill it in. And bringing it right into the flower so it's all one piece. He's found a noisy toy, one with some kind of squishy foil in it. It's a Christmas toy that Jamie gave him when we only first got him when he was a teeny tiny puppy. This wool is lovely to stitch with. Thank you, Fleur, for making it. It's lovely. Do another one in there. So soft. It just slides through. And then I get caught up with a loopy thing. Okay, there we go. That will do. Look, pretty on the back too. Nice colours. Okay, let me bring you up and just focus you. Let me just move my light above. I'm going to focus again. Sorry, bump. Can you see the stitching? Sorry, it is at night. I have got my light shining right on it. Hopefully you can see that. French knots in there, just straight stitches for the petals. French knots in the middle. And then you saw my leaf stitching. So that took a while. I haven't done much right. But anyway, it'll be a work in progress. So I think that will do for tonight because my video is an hour long and I've rambled on and chatted and talked about stuff. But that will do for tonight. That's going to be very pretty. I probably need to bring in a few pastel colours to go in with all my brights. So thank you for watching this week, and we'll see you next week when we've got the next prompt reveal and the new season. So we're going from spring to summer. So that's when I can get even brighter with my flowers. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye.